The following program is made possible with the support of Diana Corbett with Century 21 Sawyer and Associates, Hendrick Toyota Scion of Wilmington, Papa John's Pizza, Port City Daily, and WILM.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Sports Roundtable. I'm Joe Katz. Another edition of the show talking with all of our high school basketball coaches across New Hanover County as we head into crunch time, the second season on the high school basketball schedule, gearing up for the Mid-Eastern Conference tournament headed through this week, and then of course the state playoffs in just a couple of weeks. You can catch my high school coverage each and every day at PortCityDaily.com and also check in on the Sports Connection, my talk show on 103.7 FM at 6 p.m. on Mondays and 11 a.m. on Saturday mornings. Leading off today's lineup is Laney girls basketball coach Sherry Tynes. And Coach Tynes, once again here on stage gearing up for that big tournament coming up this week.
Well, we are. It's just another phase in the year, and everything else is behind us, so we're moving forward and hoping to have a good week. Kick it off with Topsail tonight, and hopefully we'll have some good things from that and be able to move on through the week.
Well, one thing I did like at the end of the regular season was the fact that we played the regular season finale on a Thursday, which gave me the Friday night off, probably my first Friday night off in probably a couple of months. But with that said, I have had a couple of days now to kind of practice and refocus following, and you actually had a bye week on that Thursday, the bye day on that Thursday, so it's been a while.
We're still working really hard to fix a few things and get better at a few things. So we had 3 good days of practice there, and hopefully we'll be ready to go tonight.
Well, heading through, I know you don't want to look ahead. You did pick up a sweep over Topsail during the regular season, and kind of right in the middle of the pack, the standings at the regular season end of the year. What's kind of going to be the recipe for success if you want to continue the season through the next couple of days?
Well, we just got to do a better job executing. Stay aggressive, execute, lots of energy. Make that transition from offense to defense, defense to offense, and just stay focused in the moment. Play one play at a time, not get ahead of ourselves. Check the passages. Stick to the basic fundamentals, and I think what we'll do will work if we can stick to those things. So we've just trying to get better every game, trying to cut down on turnovers, something that's kind of been gotten the better of us this year, so hopefully to do a few of those things better this week.
Well, some of the younger players we've talked about throughout the season now kind of growing up, you expect some of those individuals to maybe take the reins heading through this crunch time?
Well, we do, and that's what you hope for every game, that those kids will start stepping up and get out of that back seat and just play basketball like they're capable of doing. So that's what we've been encouraging them to do, and hopefully we'll see some results this week.
Well, heading through, the rest of the season, playoff bound likely, even though you're right, towards the bottom end of the 4A schools in the conference. But with that said, you'll likely have to hit the road if you do qualify for those playoffs. But what's the mindset of the team here this late in the season, understanding where they are in the conference and now moving through the tournament?
Well, we're treating this week like just a whole separate kind of season. The first season's behind us. This is the second part of the season. It's a clean slate. We're 0-0. And hoping to go into this week and play some good basketball, and then we'll start over again next week same way, and then see how far we can take it.
Now, you've been a longtime coach over at Laney. How has this season maybe been different as far as challenges and expectations for yourself with this group?
Well, we had a lot of role players back from last year, and a lot of kids that had to change roles this year, and it's been a struggle sometimes, and sometimes it's worked out good, but anytime you've got young kids, there's a huge learning curve, and there's a huge confidence curve, and I think sometimes they're hesitant to step up and take the reins like you would like for them to do. I think only time will help that happen. But we've worked hard. The kids, like I said, they work hard. We have lots of energy. They try hard. We've had some things, the ball not bounced our way literally in a few games, even with all that hard work. But we've gotten better. We've met lots of my expectations and it's somewhat exceeded a few of them. So, it's been a good year. It's been a growing year, and we're just hoping that we can, keep it going here for another week or so and play some good basketball.
Well, that's kind of one of the things that we talked about throughout the course of this season is that, not necessarily maybe the on the basketball side of things, but you've had for the girls from a player standpoint. But with that said, the girls have really put in that effort that you've asked for this year.
Well, they have, and like I said, it's not for lack of trying. It's just we've had some tough breaks. We've lost some close games where I felt like we were in the game, gave ourselves a chance to win, and then things just didn't bounce our way. But we'd get our foot halfway in the door, and then it shut on it. So, but like I said, it's not for lack of trying.
Laney girls basketball coach Sherry Tynes here on the Sports Roundtable. Coach, I know it's a big week for you. You start off with a late game today and hopefully still in action by the time I get down to Brunswick Community College later on this week. Coach, it's always a pleasure talking with you, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the future.
Thank you.
This is the Sports Roundtable. Right here, I'm Joe Katz. We'll catch up with Ashley girls basketball coach Adrienne Gale right after this quick break.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Introducing the all-new Enclave. It's a minivan to the max, with features like remote control sliding rear doors, 150 cable channels, a full sky view roof, temperature-controlled cup holders, and the 6-point navigation system. It's the minivan for families on the go.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sports Roundtable. I'm Joe Katz, bringing you today's coverage of all of our high school basketball teams and coaches from across New Hanover County. It's the regular season finale of the Sports Roundtable before we head into that second season. Up next is Ashley girls basketball coach Adrienne Gale. Coach, it's good to see you back here on stage and ready to talk some Screaming Eagles basketball.
Thanks, Joe.
Now, as we head into the conference tournament, a couple of the games in the next few days, hopefully for your Screaming Eagles, will be playoff bound eventually once those brackets come out. But coming off the regular season finale on the schedule side of things last Thursday, what's been kind of the mindset at practice heading into this week?
Just working hard and getting better every day, and we have some good practices, so we're looking forward going into the tournament this week.
Well, you've kind of had up and down season, peaks and valleys at times. Would you say right now is the time that you are hopefully going onto one of those peaks?
I hope so, and I feel like we're playing a little bit more consistent. So I'm thinking that our peaking is going on the up end, and hopefully we're just going to stay up there.
Well, that's kind of, as a coach, that's all really you can ask for, is that you want to be playing your best basketball at the end of the season rather at the beginning of the season. But with that said, you've had a mix of youth experience on the team this year. How has that kind of all come together now as we head through this conference tournament week?
Yeah, I think we're finally developing a little bit more chemistry on the court. We had a lot of position changes during the season and subtracting players from the season and everything, so I think we're finally developing a little bit of unity out there, so that feels good. Well,
I think on the offensive end and the defensive end, I guess you could say, it really starts with two of your playmakers in Jada Backus and China Cotton. You've had some role players step up as of late, but I think at the end of the day, it really starts with those two players and what they can do on both ends of the floor.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We always say our defense leads to offense, so we focus on defense, but they need to produce. And it just kind of seems, too, if one of them's having a down night, the other one will pick each other up a little bit. But when those two can score in double figures, we're usually a pretty good, solid team.
Well, now as you head into the conference tournament, this is the third, maybe fourth time you'll be seeing some of these opponents here in conference. I know it's probably not hard to maybe get up and motivated for these types of games, especially when you head into these crosstown rivalries. But for the early portion of the tournament where you play the teams that you've maybe beat up on a couple of times earlier in the year, how is it, or what's the focus for you from a coaching standpoint to get these players to understand that they need to bring it for an entire 4 quarters of play?
Well, I think it's just we're trying to focus on just getting better. So are you doing something out on the court to make yourself better, make your team better, instead of just kind of going through the motions? And also, we say, they play a game for a reason. If one team's supposed to win, then you wouldn't even play the game, but you play it for a reason, so we have to make sure we go out there and play.
All right, with that said, a couple of the sophomores, even a freshman, have been contributing as of late down low. Dana Craig is sophomore. Lola Lovett from the outside dropped 21 points the other day.
Yeah.
So those two players have also kind of developed into some key roles for you this year as well.
Yeah, Dana, she's been going to the basket a lot stronger, being more aggressive, so that's what we were looking for her, from her. And Lola, just picks up her scoring. Some nights, she's a shooter. So, one night she'll be on and next night she won't be. So we're just hoping that she's going to be on from here on out.
Well, as a freshman, it's also got to be maybe tough for her, frustrating at times when she knows she has that ability and then it, doesn't always work out for you from the outside. As a coach, it must be, a challenge for you to keep her mind focused and, kind of at the task at hand to help her understand that, hey, you're going to have bad days once in a while, but we want more good days than bad.
Yeah, we just tell her to keep shooting and also understand that there's other ways to score besides outside shooting. So she can attack the basket pretty well too. So she has to, know that if her shot's not on right now, try to get to the basket another way, find another way to score, and then maybe, you'll feel a little bit more relaxed once you make a couple shots, then you can pull it back out.
Third place in the regular season standings in the Mid-Eastern Conference. Two pretty quality teams up ahead of you. What's it going to take to be playing on this final day of the conference tournament on Friday?
We got to play good basketball, We got to do the little things. We got to box out, play good defense, not turn the ball over. And again, hopefully, we can have our big three scorers within double digits and then get a good contribution from the role players.
Well, weather permitting, the Mid-Eastern Conference girls and boys basketball tournaments will be going on all week at Brunswick Community College. The championship round will be on Friday night with the girls at 6 p.m. and the boys at 7:30. Ashley girls basketball coach Adrian Gale. Coach Gale, good luck the rest of this week, and hopefully we'll see you with a nice little run through the playoffs.
All right, thank you.
This is the Sports Roundtable. I'm Joe Katz. We'll take a quick break, and we'll catch up with some of our boys basketball coaches across New Hanover County right after this.
What state am I?
I'm the southernmost of the New England states. My capital is known as the insurance capital of the world. I'm home to the oldest continuously published paper in the U.S. Do you know who I am? If you guessed Connecticut, you're right. I received statehood in 1788.
This United States factoid has been brought to you by New Hanover County Schools on the Learning Network of the Cape Fear.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sports Roundtable, our weekly look at high school basketball across New Hanover County. We've caught up with a couple of our girls coaches. We're going to go down the list today as we head through the second season. Mid-Eastern Conference Tournament is underway at Brunswick Community College. Up next is Laney boys basketball coach Nathan Falk. And Coach Falk, it's good to see you here. And, congratulations on a decent season. I know, kind of talking off air, a lot of close games this year. And really, you could have maybe flipped the win-loss record on the other side if you were able to pull out a couple of those close games.
Yeah, thanks for having me first off. It's been a real season of close games, and I couldn't be more proud of what we've done and where we've came from and where we're going. At this point in time in the season, that's what you want to look at. Either you're going to the playoffs or you're already envisioning where you're going to be going for the next year, and that's a great thing in sports. There's always the next season, the next year. So, I like where we're at. We've had some close games, some close losses, unfortunately, but couldn't be more proud.
Well, I know, for your team in particular, a lot of youth on that team, mixed with a little of experience, obviously, with your kind of all-around player. And Tariq Lane, you've asked him to do a lot of different things this year, from playing in low post to up top in the backcourt, running the offense. How proud are you of him and what he's been able to do this season, considering everything that you've asked him to do?
I don't think people realize how much he's been expected to do from football to basketball since day one. He walks off the football field doing everything on the football field. He's got to walk on the court with me and do everything for us, unfortunately. And it's been that way for 4 years, or for 3 full years. Freshman, was in basketball, didn't play like he has the last 3 years. But nonetheless, the last 3 years he's had to do it all and carry a lot, on his plate and on his load. So I couldn't be more proud of him and what he's done for us.
Well, Tariq will, of course, be headed to Elon University to continue his athletic career as a football player next semester. And I know we have some footage of what he's been able to do on the basketball court. And really, you've kind of had a 4-headed monster at times from an offensive standpoint. And obviously, we're watching, I believe, that is Tariq right there with the left hand and the lay-in. And he's just, again, we can talk all day about what he's meant to your team this season and over the last couple of years.
Yeah, unfortunately, we wish we could have had a low post guy with him this year, and I think it would have changed a lot for us because there's just so much expected from him. He's guarding the post, he's defending the post, he's playing the post, and then he's driving, dishing. He just had to do so much, but this last 3 or 4 games has been the best games he's played in his career. I mean, he's made baskets and made everyone else around him better, and has finally learned that, and has really done a good job on the defensive side of the ball too.
Well, I think that's what you've seen kind of in the stat column for him, not only from a point standpoint. There has been times where he does not lead that scoring column, but you see him down banging elbows at some of the big guys from a rebounding standpoint, and also from a point guard standpoint, able to dish off to some of his offensive players. A couple of guys, one being Marquand Miller, who has really stood up for you this year, and a 3-point shooter as well, and Jordan John.
Yeah, and Tariq's done a good job of finding those guys, whether it be Marquand, whether it be Jordan. He's really done a good job of, as we talk about giving up the good shot for a great shot, he's done that, he's embraced that, and just so much we've asked him, as far as defending the post and doing those type of things that he's just done all year long.
Well, we see time after time again him with the ability to get into the lane using his athleticism, and it's pretty much lights out once he gets close to that rim.
Yeah, he can get there, and he's been finishing well the last few games.
Another guy we want to talk about, obviously, that has really stepped up for you this year, and we mentioned him earlier, is Marquand Miller. We've known him for the last couple of games or throughout this season, being able to elevate and throw down some big slams, which has brought the crowd to their feet. I remember a game against West Brunswick at your place where at the half he was able to throw one down that really kept you guys in the ball game, and also a lot of momentum building into that second half. Talk about Marquand's development this season.
You're about to see one right here, just in traffic, down the lane. He's definitely elevates and can get to the rim right here. So we're going to need him, obviously, in the future. He's one of those that's going to be very much of a catalyst of where we're going next year and what we can do. But he's hard to guard, and he's just made himself a better and better player this year. We were concerned about his turnover and committing turnovers early in the season. He's brought those down. He's making some good decisions. So I'm very proud of where he's at.
Well, from in another standpoint, we've also talked about a lack of maybe size for your team this year. And Marquand, Tariq, Chris Bennett, another guy, Darius Johnson, all guys that have really kind of stood up and did some things really against tough challengers on the other side, even though they're giving up a couple of inches.
Yeah, I couldn't be more proud of where we're at and what we've done. We've had to battle through some shortcomings. We can't help our size. It's something that we can't help with that. But as far as how we played and the ability, what I like about the fact is you walk into our practice and you would never know that we're 9 and 15. You can never tell, and that's a sign of something that these guys are playing for something bigger, and they're getting the point. Their culture's getting there. So you couldn't even tell if you walked in right now.
Finally, another guy in the scoring column that we've seen that has the ability to shoot the rock from anywhere outside the arc is Jordan John. We mentioned him. What's how's he progressed through last season into where we are right now towards the end of the regular season?
He's done well. Looking at what he's doing, he's shooting the 3-ball well. We're going to work on a lot of things in the off season. We've got to put the ball on the floor and get to the basket, and he needs to grow some. Obviously, those things he can't control. We're just going to worry about the things we can control, and I think next year he's setting up to really have a good senior year for us as well.
Well, you said that, heading into practice that you do not really have a difference, or the motivation or the way you practice is no different despite the win-loss record. With that said, you head into the Mid-Eastern Conference tournament this week. What's kind of the message to the guys as they get ready for some basketball games coming up over the next couple of days?
We don't want to put the uniforms up yet. We just want to keep going back to Brunswick County, as many times as we can this week. And if it should come to an end, then we're already gearing up for next year. That's just how coaches think, and that's how the players think, and we're excited about that.
Well, now a couple of years in as the head coach at Laney, what are some of the things that you've learned? I know you'll reassess things at the end of the year, but what are some of the things, and how have you grown as a coach over the last couple of these seasons?
Well, you just have to, the growth, you have to be patient with the growth process. It's nothing, I've been to 2 different programs, and it's nothing that's done overnight. It's a yearly process. We're getting real close, so I'm excited where we're going to be, in the coming years. But the process, you have to be passionate about it, and you have to be energetic about it, and understand that it's going to be, it's going to be a while for that to happen, and we're closing in on that now.
Laney boys basketball coach Nathan Falk here on the Sports Roundtable. Coach, it's nice talking to you as always, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, appreciate it.
We'll catch up with the rest of our New Hanover County high school basketball coaches right after this here on the Sports Roundtable.
That's low. Look, he's blushing. Seriously.
For more simple ways to fight the flu, visit www.flu.gov.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sports Roundtable, our weekly look at high school basketball across New Hanover County. I'm Joe Katz. Don't forget you can catch all of my high school athletics coverage at portcitydaily.com. Tune into my radio show, 103.7 FM, 6 p.m. on Mondays, 11 a.m. Saturday mornings, again on 103.7 FM. Next up is Hoggard boys basketball coach Brett Queen. And Coach, congratulations first and foremost on clinching that regular season conference championship.
Thanks, Joe. It was really happy for our guys, and they worked really hard and thought it was something that we had a chance to do, and had to have a big week last week, and were able to get a couple wins to be able to clinch that share of the title.
Well, I mean, with that share, obviously, too, a #1 seed in the conference tournament, which gives you a few extra days of practice for getting back into action. Now, is that something, I know your schedule has been kind of up and down throughout the year with lots of periods of where we played a lot of games in a row, then we had a lot of practices in a row. Now it's another kind of week, 3, 4, 5 days of practice before you get into back into the game situations. What's the message here to the guys going through the next couple days?
Well, it'll be good to have some time to practice. We gave them, a couple days off over the weekend, and because from this point on, if you keep winning, it's pretty consistent. So, we won't play until Thursday of this week. So to have 3 days of practice will be really good at this time of year. A couple of days to be able to just work on us, and then Wednesday to be able to prepare for whoever our opponent's going to be on Thursday, and then we got state playoffs starting next week, so it'll go quickly. So we'll take advantage of these couple extra days of practice.
We talked a little bit about that last week of the regular season and what you needed to do to earn a share, and we'll go to the footage here where a great game against West Brunswick High School at your place on a senior night. Of course, you go into overtime, a lot of emotion going on in that basketball game. Your seniors, their final regular season home game, and you were coming off a tough loss as well. So what can you say about what the guys were able to do in that basketball game in particular that really stood out to you?
Well, we talked about the importance of getting off to a really good start, and we had a great first half. And as you'll see on these clips, all of the highlights are from the first half because we didn't make a lot of shots in the second half, and the overtime was a lot of free throws. But it was ended up being a really fun night for our guys. We did start our seniors, and they helped us to get off to a good start. And Trey Bryant was just really good in the first half. He had 19 points in the first half and scored in a lot of different ways. Shot the ball really well from three, which he has not shot the ball as well throughout the season from three as he did last year, but he had 5 threes in the first half. We we did a good job of on both ends of the court in the first half. They're a very good basketball team, and to be up, we were up by 21 at one point in the first half, which not really expected. And we've had a lot of big first half leads this year and have struggled in the second half. Usually when you get that big first half lead, you're not doing it against a great team like West Brunswick. And, so our second half, we just didn't have the same energy level early on. And, they got some momentum and some rhythm. And, so it was a lot of times when you're in that situation, you have a big lead, you get behind. We were down 5 with 3.5 minutes left to go in the game, and went on a 7-2 run to close the game, and made some big free throws. You saw Robert Wilkerson hit a couple of shots there. He hit 2 free throws with about 15 seconds left to tie the game up that sent it into overtime. But it was a really good night for us. I think we were 9 for 11 in the 7 for 9 in the first half shooting threes. So anytime you're shooting the ball like that, it's going to help you to build a lead.
Well, in this game in particular, you had to know that West Brunswick still had, something left for you coming out of that half. You knew they were going to make a little run. They obviously evened things up at the end of regulation, and we kind of talked about that after the game, was the fact that you guys were able to hang tough, even though you jumped out to that big lead. They came storming back with all the momentum, but you still had enough gas left in the tank to kind of pull out that victory, which ended up paying huge dividends for you, obviously with that share of the conference title.
Right, and just really proud of the guys for staying in it and continuing to fight. And you get down by 5, they have all the momentum, and we never had. I never sensed that our guys felt defeated over there on the sideline during that process. And a little bit of frustration at times, but we just kept battling, and I think once we got into the overtime, had a little bit more confidence at that point. Although we spent most of the overtime playing without Trey Bryant, he was sitting over with our trainer during most of the overtime. But Gaddafi Turner came in and went 5 for 6 from the free throw line in the overtime, and helped us to be able to get that win. So it was really a great night for us, and set us up to be able to clinch that share the title on Thursday.
Well, I think with the fact that you have so much depth in that lineup, you're able to rotate 7, 8, 9 guys sometimes in and out. That that's huge for a team right now this late in the season. You are able to keep guys fresh, and that's going to be a big part of your success down through this run.
Well, and it helps us when if somebody's not doing well or somebody gets in foul trouble. We feel like we're putting somebody very capable in. It's not that we have to have that first 5 out there in order to play well, and that shows up in practice too. Our practices are very competitive, and it's nice to be able to play that many guys and feel good about what you're putting out there on the floor.
Well, now as you head through this week, obviously that first round bye, which should help you guys. But with that said, going forward, you're going to play back-to-back games should you advance to the championship. Is that kind of the focus now? That as that #1 seed, there's going to be other teams looking to knock you off that pedestal now that you're on the top. That's a message to the guys, obviously, that you're going to send to them this week.
Well, it's they know that in our league, the teams that we're going to potentially play on Thursday and possibly Friday are really good basketball teams, and I don't think our guys will take anyone for granted going forward here. And you've got to win to keep playing, and then when you get into the next week, right now we've told our guys we're guaranteed to play 2 more games. We've got a maximum of 8, and we'd sure like to be closer to playing 8 or closer to 8 than we are to 2. So hopefully we'll have the right mindset and mentality as we go through the postseason.
Hoggard boys basketball coach Brett Queen here on the Sports Roundtable. Coach, again, congratulations on the regular season title. I know it's just one more notch on the belt, but with that said, unfinished business still to go.
Thank you. Hopefully we can keep rolling here for a while.
Hoggard boys basketball team, a clinch of the share of the Mid-Eastern Conference title, looking to make a move through the tournament this week and then the 4A state playoffs beginning next week. This is the Sports Roundtable. We'll continue our conversation with the New Hanover County high school basketball coaches right after this quick break.
If I got to go to college, oh my goodness, I like discovering new things. You get to see what works for you and what doesn't. that helps you evolve as a person. You get to make like a supernova of skill or talent or whatever it is. I've always wanted to go to college. I just feel like that's my destiny. My name is Queen, and I am your dividend.
Once you see the world through math and science, you'll never see anything the same way again. Go to girlsgotech.org.
You'll see.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sports Roundtable, our weekly look at high school basketball across New Hanover County. It's crunch time into that second season. Mid-Eastern Conference tournament underway. We get ready for the state playoffs next week as well. Joining us now is Ashley, first-year boys coach, Webb Guthrie, and coach. Good to see you, first and foremost, and I know the Screaming Eagles are playing some pretty good basketball right now.
Yeah, playing, I think last time we talked, Joe, just about getting that consistency down. We've seen that in our guys late. It's good to see them go in battle and just play consistently. Really tough conference, playing some really tough games down the stretch, but always good as a coach to see your guys playing their best the back half of the conference.
And it seems like now, whereas you were playing a lot of close games and coming out on the back end of those games, now you're starting to win a couple of those close ones, and that must feel good, especially with some older guys leading your team this year.
Yeah, Joe, we had a huge one on the road. Went into Hoggard. I think we were the only team in the conference to go in there and come away with one. Guys really just worked hard all year for that game. It's good to see them finally, we had a few before that where we didn't come out with a win, so to go in there and really come away with a win versus the top team of the conference, it's good to see the guys just come in there and get that win. So well-deserved, and all our seniors, they just stepped up and played hard, and they really wanted that one.
Well, one senior in particular has had a heck of a year in Tyree Gathright. He actually dropped 39 points in an overtime loss, unfortunately, down in Charlotte against a good West Brunswick team. But talk about Tyree's ability to really, once he gets going, I mean, he's tough to stop.
Yeah, Tyree's just doing a lot of things for us. I mean, we're asking so much of him, and he's just coming through. Defensively, I feel he's gotten so much better this year. Went down to West last night. He puts up 39. I believe the fourth quarter he had 18 and 26 in the second half. So Tyree just got hot in the second half, and we were just going to him, and he delivered.
And you got to, we kind of talked off air with the fact that, that teams are going to key on him, so it's your job as a coach to try to get him in positions to succeed, and for the most part, you've been able to do that.
Yeah, we've run a lot through him. We've run him off a lot of double screens, run a lot of options where he's constantly moving around. If you're going to guard Tyree to deny him the ball, we're going to get you pretty tired. That's our goal. So Tyree's really done that well, and I'm happy for him. The best thing about Tyree is he's a better person than he is a basketball player, and he's just a quality young man.
One of the things I noticed this year, I think you've turned a lot of heads considering this is your first year at the helm of your alma mater, of course, at Ashley High School. But with that said, you're turning a lot of heads. You're getting some victories right in the middle of the pack, kind of the Mid-Eastern Conference, and that's all you can ask for in a really tough league.
Yeah, Joe, funny you say that. We start the year this year, and we said that exact phrase. It's time to turn heads and recognize the south end of the county a little bit. And, we've done that. Our guys this year, we have 7 conference wins, which tied the most in school history. Had a game in West, we went overtime. We get that when we set the record. I don't want to live life in the woods. Seven's a pretty good year for these guys. We played consistent basketball all year, had a big win at Hoggard, played every tough team in this conference to the wire. Very happy of what we accomplished, but we're not done. We'd like to go in and get some more.
I was going to say, still kind of some unfinished business heading into this Mid-Eastern Conference tournament. You get Laney in the opening round. You've played them plenty of times already, played them close a couple of times as well. Also, obviously, hoping to move through the rest of this week. What's going to be, what are the goals or the keys to victory in order to be able to play later on in this tournament?
Just, I've told my guys we're guaranteed one more game. As far as I'm concerned, we're in the playoffs. We're going to play 3 really tough games to get through them. You got to take one at a time. Obviously, we're going to play a tough Laney team Tuesday night. Whoever wins that gets the 1 seed. So we're going to see 3 really tough games to get through them, and we're just going to take them one at a time. All our guys knows if we win, we keep playing. So we're focused on that.
One other guy that I thought that has really kind of stepped up for you, in Bryson Davis, a younger guy on the team, came in a clutch situation earlier on in the season, I believe against New Hanover, and came up with a big bucket late in the game. What can you say about him and how he's matured kind of this season?
Bryson has just flourished for us. Probably been one of our most improved players this year. Go back to that Hoggard game. I believe he had that game-winning basket. which was just huge for his confidence. You know, Bryson's going in and playing at an extremely high level for us. We played West the other night. He had a lot of huge baskets late in that game, played well defensively. Just playing at a high level. You know, we've talked with him. You've got to go in and just give us no let off. And Bryson's just thrived in that role as a sophomore. He's really growing for us.
Yes, thank you for correcting me. It was the Hoggard game that he came up with the game-winning basket. But with that said, you got some older guys. Ryan Keller, Jr., going to be a senior next year. Jake Stinnett, who's also stepped up for you. Just talk about their contributions as upperclassmen to the program.
Yeah, huge. Jake, first and foremost, is our vocal leader. You know, he's the one that gets all the guys going. He's the one that's running our offense. He's really come along hugely this year. We've had a few games. He's putting up 20 points in, really scoring on a level he hadn't the year before that, which is nice to see. Ryan, just consistency. You know, Ryan, even sometimes offensively when he's struggling, he's going to go down and get a defensive stop and grab a rebound for you. So he's going to give you everything he's got on the court, and we always need a guy like that.
One of the other older guys that I forgot to mention is Alex Highsmith, known maybe more of a football player, but he looks like a football player down in the low post at times, able to, you know, not afraid of contact and getting physical on the glass.
Yeah, he's our toughness for sure, Joe. Alex, you know, he's averaging about, I think, 9-10 rebounds a game right now. And we talked to him about his role, and he knows it well. You know, he goes in and just battles for that basketball, gives us some key rebounds really in huge moments of the game. And, you know, I tell you what, lately he's come through on the offensive end. You know, we had a few huge possessions where Alex has got an offensive rebound put back or even ran the offense through him for a score. So it's good to see him just grow. He was a kid that hadn't played basketball in the last 2 years, I believe, and comes in his senior year and really able to finish on a high note for him at this school. It's just fun to see.
Wrapping up our conversation with Ashley boys basketball coach Webb Guthrie, hoping to make a little run here through the Mid-Eastern Conference tournament. What's kind of the confidence level of your boys heading through this final week of the conference?
Well, we've had some quality practices late. I think our confidence is really there. You know, you look at the back half of this conference, we've really played just consistent basketball all the way through it. You know, we talk about turning heads. I think when you see our guys now, you know, hopefully you're going to see us play that way every night. We're going to play tough. We're going to battle. We feel pretty confident we can play with any team at this conference at that level. And hopefully that's what you'll see starting on Tuesday night, Joe.
Well, looking forward to the Screaming Eagles and them participating in the Mid-Eastern Conference tournament going on all this week down at Brunswick Community College. Coach Webb Guthrie, first-year head coach of the Screaming Eagles. Coach, good luck the rest of the way and hope to talk to you soon.
Hey, appreciate you having me, Joe.
This is the Sports Roundtable. We'll continue our conversation with varsity basketball coaches across New Hanover County right after this.
Whoa, dude. You thinking what I'm thinking? Yo, I'm gonna cut the gap. Yeah. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm going in.
Integrity. Pass it on.
Save the date.
A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Okay, so we drowned the fire.
Yep.
Stirred it. Drowned it again. And now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
Hey sports fans, welcome back to the Sports Roundtable, our weekly look at high school basketball across New Hanover County. It's down to crunch time, heading through the Mid-Eastern Conference tournament going on all of this week at Brunswick Community College. State playoffs coming up over the next couple of weeks, hopefully with a couple of big runs from some of our area teams. Joining us now is New Hanover boys basketball coach Kirk Angel. And Coach, it's good to see you here. I know you had some family tendencies. The kids were sick last time around, so it's good to get you back on stage.
Yeah, good to be here. Good to be here.
Coach, New Hanover Wildcats finish second, third place in the conference, but I think, you know, with a young squad, for the most part, I think you got to be pretty happy with how the guys have come along this year.
Extremely. We had Hoggard at our place was a tough game. Then we have Kinston the next day, and then after that, you know, we dropped 2 in a row, and then we haven't lost since. So we'll, hopefully that momentum keeps us going in the tournament.
Well, now you're heading through the tournament, obviously. Kind of, what's been the focus? You had Thursday, the final game of the regular season. Couple of days to practice, refocus here, and get geared up for this conference tournament.
Yeah, we're going to have a really good practice today. Go over and play Topsail at 6 o'clock, I believe, tomorrow at Brunswick. And just, you know, my group's so young, we're just going to go over there and see what happens. We're going to play really, really hard. I can promise you that. And, I think defensively we've gotten a little bit better. We've started to spread it out full court more and getting to the pace where we want to be, and we're going to see what happens.
One of those guys you talked about youth on the team is the fact that Freddie Taylor, a freshman point guard for you, he's really come along this season leading that offense.
Yeah, done a really good job, especially at West was a huge game for him because their on-ball pressure is really, really good, and he didn't turn it over. I mean, he got us in our offense, he ran our stuff, he wasn't looking for his shot. He's growing up. The first stats he comes up to me after the game, what was my assist to turnover ratio? How many freshmen do that? So he's starting to figure out what we need from him, and he's really defending well. He's jet quick, and I've got 2 other freshmen that are playing almost 20 minutes a game, Malik Jacobs and Romello Williams, and they're so young sometimes nothing affects them. The West crowd was rowdy, and those kids are just, it is what it is. We're going to go out there and play hard, and they've done a really good job.
Well, I think that can pay dividends for you, especially in the playoffs when you're going to go on the road and play in front of some tough crowds, and to be able to have guys kind of that don't really understand the moment just yet as freshmen, and Malik Jacobs, Romello Williams mentioned, Freddie Taylor, and their ability to set up the older guys for success. Brian Howell, Lawrence Williams, Achias Fields has really come on strong over the last latter part of the season.
Yeah, the second half of conference, Achias has put us on his back at times. Not only scoring the ball, but when Freddie's in foul trouble or resting, he becomes our one. He's not turning it over. He's facilitating. He's doing his thing. And his numbers, he's been a stat. I mean, he's filled it up lately. He's done really, really well and gotten better defensively. That's where he and I butted heads earlier in the year at practice, trying to get some things straight, and he's starting to figure that into the floor out as well.
Well, I think that game against West Brunswick down at their place, again, a hostile environment, had to turn away a couple hundred people. It's always a great place to play, especially if you're that road team and able to go in there and get a victory.
Yeah, Eric Davis has done a fantastic job. He did a great job at Hopewell and Charlotte. Now he's really gotten that program turned around. I think we got there, our JV boys had to play at their place, and we get there at 5:30, and there's nowhere to go. I mean, the parking lot's full. During the girls' game, we didn't even go out and watch. We're in the locker room. We come out, and it's that's good for that community. I mean, he's done a great job down there in turning that program around.
And really, when you look up and down the Mid-Eastern Conference, there's been from my standpoint, throughout a course of an entire season, you may see 3, 4, maybe good regular season competitive games, but it seems like day in and day out, this league has produced some quality basketball.
Yeah, the parity it's been really good. I'm fortunate for us, the other teams have got 2 or 3 seniors that they're going to be saying goodbye to, and I don't have any of those. So that you'll see us again, just like we are, except we'll be a year older. So, but it's been a really good league, and hopefully that's going to prepare all of us that go in the state playoffs to be able to get in the state and represent New Hanover County well.
We'll talk about some of the older guys in Brian Howell, and we talked about Achias a little bit. Lawrence Williams has kind of come on strong. He's been streaky at times, but I know you've really pushed, especially Brian and Lawrence over the last couple of weeks to kind of really step up and take that role as a leader on the team.
When Lawrence, if he gets a couple touches early, and he can really get going. At Topsail last week, he was a monster in that game on both ends of the floor. And we're telling him, when you snatch a rebound, just go. Don't look for Freddie or Achias. Just, you're skilled. Let's see it. Brian battles. I mean, he's got to battle. He's got to lead us in rebounding. Achias has gotten a lot better rebounding as a guard. They're all stepping up. Blake Smith, when he's making shots, he can be on fire and light it up from everywhere. And he's gotten a lot better defensively. So it's been fun to watch this young group.
Well, I think that's one of the things that I've seen and a number of teams don't look forward to when they face you is the fact that you may have an off night offensively, but you're going to bring the hustle and intensity on the defensive end of the floor.
Well, and that's what me and my staff are on them all the time at practice. Your shot's not going down, go get it somewhere else. And it's mandatory in our program. You're going to guard, and they've bought into that. But them being young. Our freshmen at time during drills and practice, I'll put them 3 against an older group, and the freshmen win. And that's real fun because I'm going to have them for 4 years on that level. They're going to be something to watch here in the next few years.
Well, with that said, you still have a couple of games to go here in the Mid-Eastern Conference Tournament and a chance really to, I don't want to say pull off an upset because I don't think the difference in talent is that much from the top to where you're at. But with that said, you do have a chance to kind of make a run here and surprise some people come Friday night, hopefully in the championship game.
Yeah, Hoggard and West are deserving. Sees where they're at. We're right there. Ashley behind us. But, there's no telling. If somebody has an off night and somebody is, and I'm, starting with practice today, it's all going to start on the defensive end for us. We've got to get stops, and then I think we're good enough offensively to stay in games.
Well, the Mid-Eastern Conference Tournament kind of up for grabs, as 4 good teams atop the division right now. Of course, Hoggard and West Brunswick, and then New Hanover at third. But Coach, then the third season comes into play in the state playoffs. You know, you've had success there before. You won a state championship a couple of years ago. Maybe not poised to do that this year with such a young team, but you got to expect that the expectations going into the future are going to be real high for you.
Yeah, well, don't tell my freshmen that. They think we're going to win it this year. They're funny, but it'll be a great experience. I think, you know, projection-wise, we're going to host that one round, and then go on the road and play a very high seed in the second round that following, you know, 2 days later. But we want to go and compete, you know, and then it's kind of building for the future. Our juniors, who will be seniors next year, they want to go out on a good note next year.
New Hanover boys basketball coach Kirk Angel here on the Sports Roundtable. Coach, good luck the rest of the way. I know you'll have your guys ready come Wednesday and Thursday and Friday into the tournament.
Appreciate that, Joe.
That's New Hanover boys basketball coach Kirk Angel here on the Sports Roundtable. We'll wrap up the show after this quick break.
We'll get you moving.
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
you'll have more energy to do the things you like to do.
And that's a slam dunk.
Whether you like to shoot hoops,
kick the soccer ball around,
or ride your bike.
Moving every day puts you on the offense.
Towards a stronger you.
So be a player.
Move it your way and be a player.
Get up, play, and move it your way. Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
That's www.letsmove.gov.
We can tell our little brothers and sisters, do as I say, not as I do. But they won't listen. We can tell them not to smoke. But if we smoke, they will smoke. And in their minds, we'll be hypocrites. We can yell at them. We can tell them they're stupid if they smoke. We can tell them it'll make them sick. It'll make them stink. But they will do as we do. If we smoke, they will smoke.
Welcome back to the Sports Roundtable. I'm Joe Katz, bringing you all the high school basketball coverage in the area at portcitydaily.com and on my Sports Talk radio show, 6 p.m. Mondays, 11 a.m. Saturday mornings on 103.7 FM. We appreciate all the coaches stopping by today as we head into that second season. The Mid-Eastern Conference girls and boys basketball tournaments will be going on all week at Brunswick Community College. This weekend, we'll find out the brackets for the upcoming North Carolina High School Athletic Association state playoffs. We appreciate, again, all the coaches stopping by. Also, a shout out to New Hanover girls basketball coach Vertha Dixon-Wright. She had to go before airtime due to the first round of the conference tournament going on today in Brunswick County. With that said, a look at girls basketball across the county. New Hanover High School finished the year 10-2 in conference, 19-3 overall. The Lady Wildcats in position to make a run to possibly win back-to-back conference tournament championships, and then they will have a couple of home games as they head through the 4A state playoffs. New Hanover led by a couple of seniors and Alex Simmons and Nyasia Waddell, and a front court or a back court that has really come on strong in freshman Amani Mohammed, in addition to Tanasia Toomer and a few others that have really stepped up throughout the season as well. At the top of the list for the Mid-Eastern Conference girls basketball standings, Hoggard girls basketball team, the Lady Vikings, finished the year 11-1 in conference, 20-4 overall. The Vikings are on a 10-game winning streak with a first-round bye as we head through this week's conference tournament. You got to give a big shout-out to Coach Boubacar Al, unfortunately not able to make today's show, but the Lady Vikings won their first conference title since 2011, led by their 1,000-point scorer and senior Julia Bueller. Bueller actually just one of 4 female basketball players at Hoggard to ever reach that 1,000-point plateau. She's been helped this season by a cast of characters, including a fellow senior in Madison Huckabee and Maddie Crumpton, in addition to juniors Emma Haywood, Aaliyah Thompson, sophomore Tara Petit, and a couple of freshmen on that team that have really stepped up for them as well. Well, that will do it for this edition of the Sports Roundtable. Join us next week as we catch up with some of the coaches across New Hanover County who are still alive in the state playoffs. For everyone here inside the studio today, I'm Joe Katz. We'll talk to you next time.